We get together occasionally at Mount Fancy Farm. This is a butterfly conservation reserve. We meet, once a month or every other month or something to do management work on the reserve. And people come from nearby and they come from quite far afield. We come from Dorset. We have our own reserves in Dorset, but we've actually got to rather like this place because it's got an amazing charm of its own. I'd like to be able to spend more time here. And there's a huge amount of work to be done here. So we have these public work parties, usually at weekends, and well, we have about this number of people. It's normally no more than a dozen each time. We have got people with bow saws, we've got people with loppers, and we've got brush cutters and chainsaw operators. And today we're clearing the willow and birch trees that are growing into a very interesting wet area where the water seeps out of the ground. It's a wet flush and very interesting for plants and butterflies. And it'll just get choked by the trees unless we do something about it. So we're removing the sallows and birches, stacking the logs, because one day somebody will take the logs away for burning, for firewood, and we're burning the brush. At the same time, the brush cutters are cutting the bramble and dead bracken, which is all over the slopes, because ultimately we want this land to be grazed. At the moment it's grazed by a small number of Exmoor ponies, but we hope that ultimately we might get the longhorn cattle in here. And where the bramble's growing, they won't graze, they won't get in amongst the bramble. It's becoming a great thicket under the bracken. So if we take out the bramble, and we can't help but take out the dead bracken as well, then with any luck the animals will get in and might eat the bramble shoots, eat the grass. We might even get some heather back, and maybe the violets that the small purborder fritillary larvae feed on.
I'm here with Butterfly Conservation. It's a very interesting project on Neroche to do with landscape scale, incorporating different farms, with the idea that the work we do for the wildlife, particularly for butterflies, is backed up by management that allows the farmers to make a living. So there's a grazing scheme involving Exmoor ponies and longhorn cattle. There's more of this happening to back up conservation, nature conservation across the country, and we believe that although there's money available through higher level grant schemes, through the agri-environment scheme, this is probably not sustainable in the long term, and farmers have to look at a way of actually making this land provide some sort of living. And we're by doing the scrub clearing that we do with the power tools or the hand tools, we enable them then to come up with some sort of farming scheme that can support that.
There could be a mainstream farmer, and this could be sort of like an annex to their farm, if you like, a sort of the whole farm doesn't have to go into conservation, does it?
No, and it's a small part of farm income, and farm incomes can be supplemented with many things. And we also hope that if you have a grazing project, then those animals become part of go into a food chain at maybe a sort of a higher level in terms of value added. So you're selling conservation grade meat, maybe you're selling to slightly different people, and it's a value added product. And I'm particularly interested in sheep and the aspect of what happens to wool. That's another aspect that is very neglected at the moment, and wool should have a value. So these are sort of things that are happening gradually. People are becoming aware that there is a need and there is a niche, and it all links back to butterflies and wildlife and improving the environment for everybody.